This is a presentation on the different cultural, international, economic principles that affect conducting business in Nigeria. This is presented by Moses Conte, Namagada Hanisha, Lauren Kabweka, Dallin Price, Sodwa Sekonde, and Jonathan Van Tunder.
This slide compares Nigeria and the US using Hofmeier's cultural dimensions. The biggest differences are in the power distance and individualism. Nigeria scores a higher power distance and a lower individualism, which means it's more hierarchical and group orientated. The US is the opposite, lower power distance and very high individualism. So it's more equal and independent. What does that look like at work? In Nigeria, people respect authority, value teamwork, and expect clear rules and directions. In the US, people prefer autonomy, direct communication, and making their own decisions. For managers, this means you can't lead the same way in both countries. A directive, structured style works better in Nigeria. A participative coaching style works better in the US. Understanding this helps you to communicate clearly, motivate the right way, and avoid cultural misunderstandings.
Communication varies from country to country. The United States is a low context culture. Their communication is clear, precise, and with no hidden meaning, while Nigeria is a high context culture. Not everything is laid out, and they use a lot of nonverbal communication. The USA provides both direct and indirect feedback. They sometimes soften negative feedback so it doesn't hurt the other person. While Nigeria gives direct feedback, it gives direct negative feedback even though its culture is high context. In a disagreeing culture, the United States is in the middle because they are both confrontational and sometimes they are non-confrontational. While Nigeria is closer, it leans more towards the confrontational culture. They are direct and open to debate. Scheduling. The United States is a linear country. They prioritize punctuality, and strict deadlines. They focus on one task at a time, while Nigeria is a flexible scheduling culture. They adapt their scheduling deadlines to changing circumstances. Like they can take on something else or before they finish the task that they were given first. Understanding other countries' culture is essential and beneficial when doing business, both internationally or at home, because sometimes there are people in the same country but from different cultures, and we need to understand the other culture and be able to adapt so we can all learn and grow together.
Negotiations in Nigeria are all about relationships first. You build trust and personal connection before you talk prices or contracts. The style is competitive and flexible. Expect haggling, large open offers, and a lot of back and forth. Concessions aren't given freely, they're exchanged. People may also use persuasions, indirect communication, and sometimes they test you with a final offer to see if you'll budge. The key takeaways are: invest time upfront to build trust. Be patient because deals often go through several rounds. Be respectful, but stay firm on what matters. If you balance firmness with the relationship building, you are much more likely to reach an agreement that lasts.
The government of Nigeria is called a federal republic, and within its constitution it's written that it's based off the United States government. This government is split up into 3 government bodies, including the executive branch, a legislative branch, and a judicial branch. At the moment, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu leads the executive branch. The legislative branch has a House of Representatives as well as a Senate, and the Supreme Court makes up the judicial branch. Recent economic and policy changes that this government is hoping to implement includes the Renewed Hope Agenda. This is 8 categories that the government has said would be a priority in the coming years, including economic reform, national security, food security, infrastructure development, a focus on well-being, economic diversification, and improved governance. These 8 focuses will allow an improved economy in Nigeria and a place for businesses to operate. A bill currently going through the House and Senate is called a Raw Material Processing and Local Production Protection Bill. This would require all manufacturing within Nigeria to use at least 30% of raw materials within Nigeria before exporting, again in hopes of improving the economic situation within Nigeria.
Nigeria's economic freedom score is 54.8, making its economy the 119th first in the 2026 Index of Economic Freedom. Its rating has increased by 1.4 from last year, and Nigeria is ranked 28th out of the 47 countries in the sub-Saharan African region. The country's economic freedom is lower than the global average and higher than the regional average. Nigeria's economy is considered mostly unfree, according to the 2026 index. The in-depth results of the 12 economic freedom shows that there are 3 which are repressed economic freedom in Nigeria, and these are property rights, government integrity, judicial effectiveness. And their implications discourage foreign investors, slow down dispute resolution, and raise the hidden cost of running a business. And there are also 4 which are abundant freedom, which are fiscal and tax burden, monetary freedom, business freedom, and their implications. Operations required robust internal compliance, dedicated legal oversight for contract enforcement, and careful risk mitigation to handle weak institutional backing.
A business regulatory environment. We see that Nigeria has one of Africa's largest economies, making it an attractive destination for local and foreign investment. Starting a business has become easier because companies can register online through the Corporate Affairs Commission. Businesses are required to comply with tax laws by paying corporate income tax, value-added tax when disputes arise. Contracts can be enforced through the courts or arbitration, although legal proceedings may sometimes be slow. Despite strong business opportunities, companies still face challenges such as unreliable electricity, poor infrastructure, corruption, and government bureaucracy. Here we see that Nigeria follows the World Trade Organization's most favored nation tariff system. Manufactured goods generally have import tariffs between 5% and 20%, while agricultural products often have higher tariffs to support domestic producers. Nigeria is also a member of ECOWAS and the African Continental Free Trade Area, both which encourage regional trade and reducing trade barriers and increasing market access across Africa. Businesses importing goods into Nigeria should understand the country's tariff policies and import regulations before entering the market.
Foreign direct investments play a major role in all economies around the world. The Nigerian foreign direct investments equal almost $4.1 billion this year. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission has been built to oversee all investments. They allow up to 100% foreign investments into a company to obtain ownership of that company. However, they don't allow any investments into the following sectors: arms and ammunitions, narcotics and psychotropic drugs, military and police wares and accoutrements, immigration and prison services. These are blacklisted and aren't allowed to be invested in. The committee also offers a 5% tax credit to companies in priority sectors. These sectors include agriculture and infrastructure, and this is a hopes to diversify the economy of Nigeria so that it is not solely dependent on the oil and gas industry. These industries are very volatile, and a more diverse spread of economic sectors will allow the economy to ride out these waves that the oil and gas industry go through.
GDP per capita. Nigeria's GDP per capita has increased over the past 5 years. This means people generally have more purchasing power than before. For businesses, this is a positive sign because more people may be able to buy products. However, companies still need affordable prices because income levels are different across the country. Nigeria's economy was affected by COVID-19 in 2020, but it has recovered in the following years. This shows that business activity and consumer confidence are improving, which creates better opportunities for companies entering the market for GDP growth. Inflation has increased a lot in recent years, making everyday goods and services more expensive. As a result, consumers may spend less while businesses face higher costs. Companies may need to manage their prices carefully to remain competitive. The central bank increased interest rates to control inflation. Higher interest rates makes loans more expensive for both businesses and consumers. Because of this, companies should plan their finances carefully before investing or expanding. Between 2020 and 2024, the Nigerian naira lost a lot of its value against the US dollar. This means businesses have to spend more money to import products or raw materials from other countries. A weaker currency can also reduce consumers' buying power because imported goods become more expensive. To reduce these risks, businesses should monitor exchange rates, set reasonable prices, and use local suppliers whenever possible.
We propose the following 3 products to be imported into Nigeria: solar home kits, solar refrigeration units, and solar lighting systems. The citizens of Nigeria experience frequent blackouts due to poor infrastructure, and the solar aspect of these products would help with that and provide for their needs. Home kits would provide electricity for charging and entertainment and appliances throughout the day. Refrigeration units would provide electricity to keep food safe, and lighting systems would allow houses to operate throughout the night. Each of these would have a competition to people producing for larger companies. Our product would be made to go to individuals and families. A cheaper price and options for pricing plans would allow individuals to afford the electricity that they need and improve the infrastructure in the country.